I don't think you're ready, but here we go.
Hey,
You are Locked On Golden
no matter what
Gophers,
we're going to do here, we're just going to keep rowing.
your daily podcast on the Minnesota
Whatever
Golden
turns out, however it
Gophers.
turns out, we're just going to keep rowing.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We're just going to keep rowing, and keep rowing.
You're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name's Kane Rob, host of the podcast, former collegiate football video coordinator and recruiting assistant, here to talk Golden Gophers with you each and every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Today, we're jumping back on with our boy Tristyn, our co-host. We usually do predictions, but not today. We've got a special one for you today. Before we get into that, please hit subscribe on YouTube. You don't want to miss the content we have generating here. We're building it up. The community is building. Eventually, we're going to get into more live reaction shows after the games. Football season next year, we're going to have a live show after the games. Basketball, hopefully this season, we'll get it included as well. We're going to get more guests on. We're going to get more players on. It's going to be a good time. So hit subscribe on YouTube. I appreciate it. And be sure to leave a 5-star review wherever you get the podcast to help others find this show. Now, wait no further. Let's jump in. All right. You're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We got Tristyn back on the show here with us again. No predictions this time around, but we do have another guest as well. A guest that was third in the entire Big Ten in receptions at his position, third in the entire Big Ten in receiving yards at his position, the highest graded blocking tight end in the Big Ten, in 5th in the nation, the second highest graded receiving tight end in the Big Ten honorable mention, and family friend Brevyn Spann-Ford. Thanks for coming on with us, brother.
What's up, guys? That was too much. That was too much hype for this guy.
Look, Tristyn, you know I love you, but you don't get that type of intro like he does. You gotta put everything behind it, man.
Oh my God, that was just exhausting.
I had to gas him up. But anyways, let's jump right into this thing. I know the listeners are going to have tons of questions, get to know a little bit about you on the backside of things, about football and all of that. And we get to have the vibe with your brother as well, so it'll be fun. But being from Minnesota, what's it been like the last few years, being able to play for the program in your home state with family and everybody else able to come out and support you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tremendous honor. Obviously, full credit to Coach Fleck and the staff for taking a chance on me in recruiting, and I'm extremely thankful to be here. And I've been really thankful to be able to help the team win the past couple of years.
Yes, sir. How about you, Tristyn? How has it been like to actually be able to go to the games and support your brother and have your kids get to see him play?
It is awesome. Like to be able to be so close, and I would say it is the dream. It's an ideal situation. I know the boys, like, they are ecstatic about it. You know, every football game we watch, they're looking, oh, is that Chris? Is that Mo? I'm like, no, we're watching the Vikings right now. But it is awesome. It's cool to watch him do his thing and live his dream too. And part of it's kind of surreal just because he kind of called his shot. Like, since day one, he's always like, this has always been the plan. He's always said that he's going to do it, and he just goes up and does it. So it's cool. It's all right. It's okay.
I was going to say, I was waiting for the negative or like the downplay, because I feel like I amped him up, and I haven't seen that much love in quite a bit. You know,
I can't just constantly gas this guy up. Like, he gets it all day on Twitter. Like, it's too much sometimes. I can't gas
that was the part I left out of the intro, man, that he thinks he's Superman. You remember that? Somebody said you needed to be humbled because he was Superman out here. Crazy folk out there on Twitter. But Brev, you've got the Barbershop thing going. How has that been? What's been your favorite thing about being able to do that behind the scenes, and how to get started?
Yeah, so we got started this August. Our video team, one of the people on our video team came up to me and was like, hey, we have an idea of like a show for you during camp. And I was like, a show? and they told me it would be like kind of similar to LeBron's HBO show, The Shop. So I mean, I kind of like, he pitched the idea to me, and I was like sure, I'll do it. I mean,
because we had a couple other guys with shows during fall camp, so I thought it would be pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
so we originally went into filming the first thing like one of the days in fall camp. It was like after we had practice, and a person from our team, like the staff wise, came up and was like, "Hey, like he gave me like a list of questions." So I was like, I kind of wanted to put my own twist on the show. So I was like, "Is it cool if I type my own questions out?" So I've pretty much been typing out my own questions. I feel like it gives it more of like a comfortable feel. It doesn't sound like I'm reading off a script, even though I'm just reading questions that I typed into my notes.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's been really fun just for one, getting to know my guys better and getting like to be a part of them sharing their story with the fans is really cool. So
For sure. No, and it's been a hit. I mean, the facial reactions are everything in that show. I gotta admit it. Like when you checked in on Mo on we sticking with that. Like that was hilarious.
I was gonna ask too. I know like not necessarily like throughout high school, media wasn't like your biggest thing, but I mean I was impressed when you started doing it, and I know a lot of you got like great responses. Have you ever thought about like doing like, post football, like any media stuff at all? Like, is that ever crossed your mind? I know we've never really talked about it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, I don't know, because I get kind of nervous doing the episodes, but like it's easy when I'm just talking to one of my teammates.
I'm not gonna lie, first time you told me you were doing it, I was like, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be very bad. No.
Yeah,
And then it was great.
it's just like talking to you guys. Like y'all don't see me doing any other podcasts. Like
Right. No, and I appreciate that. I was like, first of all, when I started this thing, I was like, we got to get Brev on here. And then I was like, man, he's busy all the time. So I don't know if it'll happen. I think everybody thought I was lying, that I knew you or that we went back. So I was just
yeah,
like,
no, actually I seen a picture of us three the other day. See if I can find it. But we were at a swimming pool or something. It was pretty funny. I was like the smallest one standing next to me.
You still are. There's no new picture of us all together, but you're probably still the smallest one.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what it is.
As far as the people need to know.
Yeah. So we're gonna move it back to the football. But one thing Tristyn and I have been super, I don't know, impressed with is the young gun quarterback, Ethan Kaliakmanis. Let the people know, when did you realize that he had the talent to be really special, and what stands out the most about him to you?
I think when he first came in, he graduated during the COVID season, so then he came right after that. But when he came in and he was the scout team quarterback, everyone on the defense was heralding about him. So that's kind of when I first got a glimpse of him, just seeing him in like the little rookie scrimmages and stuff like that. He can make any throw. His ceiling is very high, and he's a great athlete as well, and he's very coachable. So I think the sky's the limit for him.
All right, I got two more formal questions for you. Then we're just gonna kick back. We're gonna have some fun with this thing. But the first one is the run blocking aspect of your game has been a huge stride. People have been talking about it all season. What went into that this past offseason, and you putting the work in for that?
I would say just getting to my playbook, just learning our stuff. It's not always necessarily game planning and things like that, but it's more just like mastering the offense. Obviously, this was my 5th season in the program, so I've been around this offense for a long time, and just knowing the ins and outs of it is what makes it a lot slower on game days. So.
Awesome. And then the last thing I got, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff, is what does
I got
the
one for
axe
him
mean?
too.
Oh, okay. I feel you. What does the axe mean to you, and what is it like winning it back to back? How did it feel walking off the field, knowing you brought it home again?
Oh, it's awesome. Just like definitely a game you grew up watching, and you're like obviously rooting for the Gophers, and you're just envisioning yourself being out there and being able to celebrate with the team, and winning the axe, and getting the fan support and love from the whole state, because obviously it's a big game. But when you're really in it, you're really wanting to play for your brothers and your teammates out there. The trophy itself doesn't become as important. Just the camaraderie that it takes to get it is what's important.
I feel it. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to talk about some things off the field. Get to know the Spann-Ford boys, okay? Today's show is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. You name it, you can find it over at BetOnline. We talked about it on the show here about the Heisman odds when they first dropped, and I said, folks, Caleb Williams being the third highest odds, I would take that all day. You can go back and check it. Run the tape. I got the receipts. I wish I would have done it, and you probably do too, because Caleb Williams is officially the number one when it comes to the odds for the Heisman Trophy, and it ain't particularly close. So definitely tune in at BetOnline. You can find the latest odds, the latest trends, more money lines, props, odds than ever before over at BetOnline. BetOnline is where the game starts. All right, we're back at it. Thank you for listening to Locked On Golden Gophers and making us your first listen when it comes to Gophers Daily Sports. Now, I gotta ask you this. Why is it so hard for announcers to pronounce y'all's last name? I mean, we've got Spann-Ford, we've got Spam, Ford, like, I've heard it all now. What is up?
I mean, at least they're calling it.
I was gonna say I've become to the point where I feel like we've gone so long with people mispronouncing it. Other people notice it a lot faster than we do. I've went my whole high school career being Tristyn Spann-Ford. It's just second nature.
Man, it's wild. It's literally like phonetic. So I don't know why it's so hard for people, but I had to bring it up. And let's get into the good stuff. Best Thanksgiving food. I got to know, what was the go-to when you guys were bouncing around from did you both go to multiple Thanksgivings?
Oh boy, don't get this boy started. He does not like Thanksgiving food.
Oh, hot take.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of Thanksgiving food. I like mac and cheese and stuff like that. I like collard greens, but I'm just not a big like turkey.
I mean I don't care about the turkey either. I'm right there with you. I'm over here for the stuffing and the mac and cheese. That's about it for me. So
what is going on right now? Like, I cannot be in this weird twilight zone where people don't like turkey like that. Turkey is fire. Like, it is good every time. Like, I think it should be eaten more. Why is it only a Thanksgiving food?
Bro, turkey is like the Warriors. Everybody kind of likes it, but they're over it. It's overhyped, and you're ready to move on. Like,
maybe I just haven't had the right one or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, so I gotta call you out, Tristyn. Brevyn, Tristyn said as we headed into the season that he can still outdo you in the weight room. I asked him, between you, your pops, and Tristyn, who's holding it down in the weight room, who is putting up the best bench, and he said that you still can't hold him. Is that the truth? Can you let the people know? We got to clear it up.
I'm gonna let him have it because that's all he does is arms. I'm not in the weight room just doing straight arms. I'm doing arms, legs, back, everything, agility work. Really working on his arms. He probably couldn't run a mile right now. So that's all I'm really worried about. I'm worried about the athleticism part.
See, he doesn't realize I'm a UPS driver. Okay, I'm an industrial athlete. We don't have to do legs that much. I'm moving all day long.
Okay, but is he spitting facts? Can you run a mile?
How long? How long do I get to run said mile?
Because that's 8 minutes.
No.
Okay.
But I'll deliver a lot of packages in a mile.
All right. Well, I don't know if I'm buying it still, but we'll give it to him. He called you out in a subtle way, so we'll take it. All right. The funniest story or memory between the two of you that's show appropriate, folks. We got to keep it show appropriate. So I don't know if there's anything wild or crazy, but is there anything funny, embarrassing that you want to put out there?
I got one off the top of my head. You know what I'm talking about? You're gonna talk about?
No, I have no clue, but I have no idea.
So when me and Tristyn were younger, obviously he was a lot bigger than me. But we shared a room together. And we had 2 twin beds in the room. So when we would be bored, we'd play football against each other, and we'd push the twin beds together. So you got to make it to one side of the other side of the bed. It's pretty much like Oklahoma drill, 1-on-1. So you just kind of run at each other. And then one time we were playing, and Tristyn tackled me into the wall, and we put a huge hole in our upstairs wall. So our mother wasn't very happy with us. I don't remember
We
how
tried
long
to.
fixed.
It took her a couple of days to see the hole because we were leaving pillows propped up against it for a couple of days.
Yeah, we were definitely trying to hide it from her. That's probably one of the funniest stories, though.
Oh, dude, that was mom was super mad, super mad. I don't have a funny story. The one I can think of is the night you cut your thumb with that baseball.
Man,
Like you one night, Brev comes. I'm sitting in my room, and all of a sudden I see him sprint across the hall, holding his hand up. He's like, "Mom, Mom, I cut my hand." We come in there, and he's like, "I don't know what happened. I was trying to cut to the center of this baseball with a pocket knife, like this dull pocket knife we had at the house." And he split his thumb like all the way up the seam of it, like cut through his nail. And he spent the night in the ER getting stitches. See, all
Dang.
because he was trying to cut a baseball open. Like for what?
So for all the kids listening to the show, do not try to cut a baseball. Just let it be. Just let it be.
I'm 100% certain that I'm not the only one who's ever done that.
I'm certain you're not either. That's 100% facts. All right. The pressure's on now. Different question. First date or anniversary, you got to impress and you have to cook a meal. What are you cooking? This is you too, Tristyn, if you got
I
it.
know my go-to is I'm always a steak and mashed potatoes guy because, I mean, Chloe is a picky eater. So it's kind of what do I want for dinner that I can make that she will eat. So I'm going steak and potatoes every time.
I might have to go like pasta or some I don't know. I'm not a big chef or anything.
Preach it.
Oh, that could have been my funny story. Yo, pause.
Uh-oh.
Before Brevyn was a football player, he was a chef though.
I did one.
And we used to do cooking shows in our house, and I'd set up the camera. Our mom got us like these little camcorders for Christmas one year, and I literally we was on like a Food Network kick. We just watched Food Network all the time, and Brev would just mix stuff up. What?
Rachel Ray's show.
Rachel Ray, yeah, Brev used to chef stuff up, and I'd be the little director behind the camera filming him.
So it sounds like you need to get back into it because you got to shake the rust off, Brev. That's all it needs.
I haven't cooked anything in college. I've not cooked anything.
That's because they got the big old fancy new athletic building and everything. They taking care of you.
Take care of us.
All right, last question here. If you could have any NIL deal with one local business and one national brand, what would you choose?
I think national brand, probably like Mercedes-Benz or something like that. Because I mean,
hard to go wrong there. Hard to go wrong.
Local. I'm trying to think. Business. I might have to go like Caribou probably. Some coffee place. Just because, I'm a big coffee dude now.
All right. So if any of you work at Caribou, Mercedes-Benz, you got the email down in the show link below. Be sure to send me an email. I'll get you his way. We'll make it happen. Okay. So you just got to speak it into the universe. We'll make it happen.
Preferably Mercedes-Benz.
You have been on them snaps. I'll be getting the snap about every other morning. It's just him holding his little iced coffee. Yeah. It's like, let's have a day.
All right, we're going to close this thing off with questions about the locker room, about your teammates, and that's how we'll close this bad boy off.
But,
all right, so it's going to get deep here. It's going to get real. Who would you say is the funniest guy in the locker room?
I will say our team has a lot of funny dudes. Like, our team is pretty funny. Personally,
this might start a war. If there's a lot of funny dudes, we might start a war.
You're boiling beef in the locker room right now.
I think probably one of the funniest people in the locker room is Trill Carter. Like, I don't know what it is, but every time I see him, I'm half laughing by the time I see him. Every time. He's so funny.
Trill takes the crown on that one. Now, Okay, away from the funny, who's got the best off the field drip? Who's coming in styling, profiling, looking good? Game day, game day, you usually are wearing something similar, but off the field, say you're going to a team meeting and somebody just decides to flash it up. Who's got the best drip?
I would say, obviously this is an objective answer, but I think Chris and Trey Potts.
I was about to say, I know it's not you.
They both got good fashion.
Tristyn just has to get those little digs in there. He can't
No,
let
I'm
you
just
have
saying,
nothing, Brett.
he will dress up if he going out. If he going out, he'll pop out. But that is the most casual man I've ever met. He could go to a wedding in some sweatpants, and I wouldn't even be like, yeah, that sounds about right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Cozy as can be. I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying.
So, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. And it's always the wintertime here in Minnesota. So, all right. Who does the best impression of coaches? I feel like people always make impressions of their coaches, whether it's when the coaches are away or whatnot. But who's got the best coaches impression?
I mean, Tanner Morgan. I mean, he looked like him. And he would probably say the same thing if you asked him.
He probably knows the playbook just as well, too.
All right. So then who are some of the younger players that have stood out to you personally over the course of fall, spring, the Rovers periods that you've done? Who are some young guys that maybe the media or the public, the fans haven't really been able to see, but they've stood out and impressed to you?
I'd say there's a few. All of them. This whole class that came in, I think they're extremely close and tight knit group. They're really fun to be around. All the guys are really cool. But Zach Evans came in the spring. Rylan Kelly came in the spring. Those guys, I hang out with them quite a bit. They're cool. Who else? Anthony Smith is also. He's gonna be a talented player. Super young, and he's already a freak. And we got two linebackers that have been doing really well lately too, Maverick and Tyler Stolsky. Those guys have been putting in the work. So
Maverick, good football name. Put that in the notes.
I look, bro, I've already said that preseason. I said this dude's got a football name for the ages, Maverick Baranowski.
That's
He's got it.
You got to be calling that on Sundays.
All right. Well, speaking of some of those young guys, I heard Anthony Smith is a hooper. I know you're a hooper. I've heard the talk and the chatter. I even heard I was on the field when Ben Johnson was there, and you said your 5 versus his 5. First of all, can we make this happen? Who are your 5, and do you really think you could take them?
First off, it's never gonna happen. I was just messing with Coach Johnson. But my 5 for our team would probably be Chris. I'm gonna go Chris at the 1, Mike Brown-Stevens at the 2. I'm at the 3, Braylon Albers at the 4, and Anthony Smith at the 5.
You still just want to be a shooter, huh? Just want to be a shooter.
I just think me and Braylon are kind of interchangeable. We're both just the athletic slashers.
All right, so it won't actually happen, but do you think you could take them legitimately, or are you just gassing yourself up on this one?
I mean, obviously they're great. They're a great team and they're talented basketball players. But I think we would hold it down up towards the defensive end of the court. But I think scoring wise, we might be in a little bit of trouble. I know Chris gonna score for us for sure.
The honesty comes through, though. I appreciate it.
To be fair, we got football players, and football players playing basketball is sometimes the most hilarious thing too. Like, I remember some of our football players in high school used to try to hoop, like, just goofing around, and it was just atrocious.
No, but Chris is really
yeah, that's different. They're athletes. I'm talking high school kids. You guys are
really everyone on our team is like Mike Brown-Stevens. She's an athlete.
Yeah, y'all can, yeah.
Like his head at the rim.
Who's dunking the best though? I mean, probably you with the height, but outside of you, who has the best dunks?
Mike can dunk. Actually, we'd play a little bit in the summer, and I actually flipped Dixon, caught a little rebound, dunked on me once. If I'm being honest, it was crazy. I wasn't looking at him, but it was a crazy play. Yeah,
so if anybody's got that on tape, we need it. Send it to the show.
If that was on tape, y'all would have seen it by now, and I would have.
Brev would have retired from the hoop life.
He was texting security.
I would have reported it. I'm so serious.
All right. Well, okay. In your time with the Gophers, man, you've seen a bunch of talented dudes that have gone to the NFL. Who are a handful that you looked up to and still keep up with now?
I try to keep up with as many of them as I can, whether they're playing or not. I still keep in contact to guys like Blaze Andrews, Bate, obviously, Dan Falele, pretty much you name it. But those guys are doing great things in their lives, and they're great people, and that's what matters the most. So they're always back here whenever they can be, but for the most part, they're working hard, chasing their dreams. So.
Yes, sir. Tristyn, you got anything you got to get off your chest and ask your brother while we got the time?
No, I was just gonna ask. I know, like, in my eyes, you just graduated high school like last year. Like, people could ask how many years you've been in college, and I'm just like, I don't know, like 6 months, a year or so. It just, time goes so fast. So I'm wondering, like, for you, what's the transition, or what's like the biggest thing you've noticed going from being like, freshman coming in here and not really knowing anyone to being now the guy, like, who's been here. Like when you got here, would have been Antoine Winfield had already been here for 5 years. What's the difference for you, like, day to day, being like, an established upperclassman?
An old head.
Yeah.
It's definitely like having that experience. I think it's important to just share it with others. So if you see like a freshman or a younger guy going through something similar that you went through, just make sure you're there for them. And I think it's also cool because you value that camaraderie, like I was talking about before. You value the teamwork, and you value like the little things, like the lifts that you might not want to wake up for. You value that a little bit more because obviously, like, you realize this game is short, and it's like, obviously it's not for long. So you just gotta learn to cherish those moments and just always stay in the moment.
Yes, sir. Well, people will be pissed if I didn't ask the question, but guess what, folks? I'm not. We're going to leave Brev's decision up to him when he makes that, but be sure to be tuned into him wherever he is, on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you follow him. Be sure to give him love. We're focused on the bowl game, and yeah, get it.
I got one more. Did you shave your beard off because people were mistaking you for O'Keefe?
Y'all have a good night.
That is gonna do it for us. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time, Brev. I appreciate it, and we look forward to whatever you decide. That's gonna do it for us on Locked On Golden Gophers. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube. Take it easy. We'll see you next time. Row the boat, Sky Ma. Go Gophers.